Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're live here from Platinum Payments corporate office here in Ogden, Utah. So for the ones that don't know where Ogden, Utah is, it's just about 30 miles north of Salt Lake City. We've been based here going on about 11 years now, actually. So again, welcome. My name is Colston Robinson. I am the Vice President of Sales here at Platinum Payments. I've come into you with over 10 years of experience in the merchant banking, electronic payment industry. Been basically all across the country, worked with a lot of the major banks, credit unions, CPA firms all across the country, taking care of not only them, but their clients as well. To the right, your left of me is Wendy and Colston. She's the Chief of Operations here at Platinum Payments. She comes to you with over 15 years in the business. I always tell people she's 21 years old, so she started pretty young in the industry.
I was 5.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to take you through who we are, what we do, basically let you know who Platinum Payments is. We're going to talk a little bit about the industry. We're going to talk about the day in the life as a payment professional. We're going to talk about some of the leadership opportunities that we have here as well. Obviously, a lot of you guys are on this call. You're spread across the country, and Platinum Payments, we're growing quite rapidly right now. And so with your guys' help, obviously, that's what we're looking to do. So we're going to show you a quick video. This is actually on our website. So if you haven't been to our website yet, definitely check us out, platinumpayments.com. Also, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I think I've hit about all of them. So again, definitely do your research on who we are. Definitely backed by one of the top companies in this industry, which is Elavon. It's a U.S. bank owned company. Definitely rated as one of the most ethical companies in this business, and their values really just match up really well with how we operate, because Wendy will go over it. You'll hear us talk about it a lot, but it's the Platinum Guarantee. We also reference it as the Platinum Core. Everything we do far as helping businesses out, everything is on a month-to-month basis. We don't have any termination fees, which is not the normal in this industry. We never increase our merchants' rates, which is another non-normal thing that takes place in this industry as well. We don't overprice our equipment. We don't lease equipment, which again has been a negative thing in the industry over the past 15, 20 years. So basically what we have done is taken out all the negativity in the industry, and we've labeled it as the Platinum Guarantee. And again, we're backed by U.S. Bank and their company Elavon. We're also partnered with the other top 5 acquiring banks. So that's basically the middleman that is making that transaction take place. So any type of electronic payment that is coming through a debit card, credit card, obviously there has to be somebody in the middle that's taking on a lot of that risk, and that's obviously us. So with you guys obviously hopping on board, the nice thing is Platinum, we really don't have to take upon that risk. That's why we partner and have agreements with Elavon and our other processors that handle that for us. So let's jump right into it. Again, welcome everyone. There's going to be opportunities at the end of this call to ask a lot of questions. You can start, even putting those in the chat option so we can start answering those questions. And at the end, also, we're going to be sending each of you an email. Obviously, again, thanking you for your time. But then we will also leave that open to you so you can start communicating with us. We'll be getting on individual phone calls, Zoom meetings with you guys to have more of a personal relationship. So, look at today's call as definitely one that gives you a good overall view of who we are, what we do. Obviously, allows you to then go do your own research on who we are. And, we look at this as definitely a long-lasting career. When you start thinking about building a portfolio of merchants, of businesses that you're out there prospecting and bringing on to the Platinum family and welcoming them in, you're going to get paid on that account not only very well upfront. We have definitely, I kind of let you know of our experience. We've definitely have worked with other companies. We've been involved with other companies. We know different comp plans out there, and we believe ours is definitely one of the top comp plans in the industry. So you'll get to learn how we make great upfront money when we bring on a merchant. But that's the one thing that got me interested into the business 10 years ago, and again, it's still a bright future as far as this industry goes. That residual income factor is really what kind of got me thinking. I go back to some of my professors, business professors, and they said you got to find residual income and make it work for you. And we realized that there are obviously different options for residual income out there, but we believe that this one is a great tool. It doesn't require any special licensing. It's not requiring you to come to us with any type of upfront payments, right? You don't have to bring in thousands of dollars to join our team. It's something that actually costs you nothing. Obviously, it's going to take you a lot of more time, right, to learn the industry. We have a great training program that we get you guys involved in right away. We have ongoing Zoom calls, trainings every single day to let you guys just learn more about the industry. We have a lot of great training tutorials, videos, documents. Again, we're backed by what we feel is the best in the industry with Elevon. They have their own training portals as well. There's a ton of great information out online as well that we recommend you taking a look at. If you've never gone to YouTube, which I'm sure everybody on this call has gone to YouTube, but if you never, especially now that you're thinking about joining the merchant service, the merchant banking, electronic payments industry, definitely, look out there, see what people are saying. There's some great people that we reference. Definitely once you join our team, we let you know a lot of that information on who we trust out there as far as some people to follow, and definitely, keep an eye on, and they'll definitely lead you down the path to success. So let's start here, and then I'm going to open that up to Wendy. Again, as Chief Operations, she'll go over kind of all the details. I'm more of the sales guy. She more is involved with kind of the operations side, even though she has a lot of great sales skills and signed many accounts. So here we go. Again, welcome. Let's have some fun. Awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Obviously you got to see a lot of the things that this company has obviously brought to us, but brought to many others across the country as well. So we're in all 50 states, so don't feel like you're left out there on an island by yourself. So we have clients stretched across the United States, and obviously there's just a ton of opportunity out there to be had. So without further ado, I'm going to have Wendy take over. Again, she's going to walk you through a lot of the details as far as comp, who we are, what we stand behind. And so again, welcome, Wendy, and take on over.
Thanks, Cole. Hey, thanks all of you for being on. I've read every one of your resumes. I'm very impressed with what I've seen. I think we have a great group of candidates on here. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Let me just give you a little background about us. We have been in the business for 10 years. So how we started out the company was we offered 1099 contractors, generally veterans in the industry, and hired them throughout the US. So we are in the United States, in every state in the US, as well as up into Canada. We're serving businesses in both countries right now. We are looking also to open up the UK here shortly as well. So this is a W-2 position that we just expanded into a couple years ago. We have benefits after 60 days, full benefits. And what we've done here is we wanted to be a little bit more competitive in the job market. So that's why we decided to offer a W-2 position with benefits. Just to give you a little background, Samuel Smith is the CEO and founder and owner of the company. He started into this industry right out after getting his master's degree, and has really taken all the obstacles out of the payment industry. With his experience of working up into management and previous companies, he brought all that here and eliminated some of the headaches that were really frustrating in this industry. For me, one of the biggest things when I first started in this industry was I would work with a business owner. This is what we do. We talk with business owners, we get their statements, see where we can lower costs, increase revenue, what we can do to set them up on a liability protection program so that they're not subjected to any kind of fraud. And then in my previous company, after about 2 to 4 months, I would get a phone call from that business owner and they would say, Wendy, we like you so much, but my rates are skyrocketing. So I would say, hey, let me see what I can do to help you out with that. Call into my previous company and say, hey, my customer here is new. They're really concerned about this rate increase. Every time they would say, there's nothing you can do. We have rate increases 4 times a year. So they would ultimately leave because they were being so gouged with these rate increases. So this is what separates platinum payments from the rest. And that is we have a rate guarantee. So that price will never change. So whatever that processing is, when they begin with us, it's in writing that it's never going to change from that. That is huge. The other part, I like to call this our platinum core because it's a 3-point, has 3 points to it. The first one is that rate guarantee. The next one is typically business owners stay about 16 months with their processor. That's being locked into a contract, 3, 5, I've even seen 7-year contracts with early termination fees, anywhere between $500 to thousands of dollars. So they're obviously leaving because 16 months is a lot shorter than 5 or 7 years. And a lot of it is because they're being gouged. Those rate increases are continually going up and they're locked into a contract. So it's worth paying to get out because it's just too much money. So we've eliminated that. The other part of our platinum core is we do not have a contract and we don't have early termination fees. So my favorite thing since I've been here with this company, which has been 8.5 years, is to tell business owners, hey, basically we don't believe in taking you hostage. We believe in offering a great service that you can rely on, quality, a rep that's here to answer your questions. So that has been significantly different for me in this company compared to my 2 previous companies, because the whole point of sales is to build that residual income. We have several reps, many reps that are over 30,000 a month in their residual checks, some that are higher. So that is the component of giving you that flexibility and time freedom, is to have that residual income. So once you board a business with Platinum Payments, as long as they are with you and you are with us, those residuals go on for life. That never changes, and it never will change. So we've been doing that for 10 years. So let me just give you a little idea of what the job looks like. So right now with the COVID-19, we've already been set up to do everything virtually from the beginning. So this really hasn't affected all of us. We've all been able to keep working despite some of those restrictions on certain businesses. We've been able to keep working. And what we're doing now, but now businesses are opening up, let me just share with you what we've done during the COVID-19, why we can keep working. So we are reaching out to business owners every day. Typically early in the morning is the best time to reach a business owner. So we'll go through a list of business owners that we want to reach out to. And I recommend for someone that's new, maybe doing 80 to 100 calls a day. That sounds like a lot, but out of those, you're gonna get maybe 25 or 30 that you're gonna be talking to. So when you're talking to them, we are asking to obtain a copy of their merchant statement. And the way I like to explain a merchant statement to business owners is because a lot of them think I'm asking for their bank statement. Well, if you really want to give it to me, but not really. So I like to describe it like this. A merchant statement is just like a cell phone bill. It lists all their transactions for the month, every type of card that was taken, and then their total volume. So when we get that merchant statement, we set a return appointment with them right away, like within 24 hours. So you want to set it the next day, no more than 48 hours, because then we're more likely to close that deal. So then we have those statements. So what we're doing with those while you're new is your sales manager will be working with you on doing a statement analysis. So you'll just email those over to him. That's not something you have to know right away. It comes with a little bit of time and experience, but we've got your back until then. So with those statements, he'll do an analysis and draw up a proposal to meet with that business owner. He will also be there with you to close that deal. Usually after about 4 or 5 deals, everyone's like, I'm good, I got it, I don't need you, I don't need the assist. So just know that you have that support available to you while you're still learning. So then that's just something that we're working on every day, is just setting appointments. Usually you want to set your appointments in the afternoons and do your cold calls in the morning. With some businesses opening out, it's opening back up is a great opportunity to reach out to those business owners face to face. If that's something that you like to do, you can really get things moving fast. It's nice too, because you can just kind of assess their needs a little more. They'll be a little more open to you that way. So it's really up to you what you're comfortable with, what your style is. I've done both. Cole's done both. It's just, it works either way. So let me just go over how we pay. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. All right, so for every business that you bring on board, we have 3 upfront commissions that you're paid on each business. So the first one is a gross margin bonus. So that's another thing that we're going to find in that merchant statement, is what the profitability is going to be for you as that new account manager for that business. Then we multiply that, depending on what tier you're working at, by 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months. So that's the bonus part. You get that many months as an advance on that account before they've even started their processing. Then we have equipment commission. So we have quite the range of equipment, anywhere from a small Bluetooth encrypted card reader for phone, tablets, iPads, up to some really sophisticated point of sale systems that do everything from tracking inventory, employee login, even employee theft. I've had several business owners call to thank me for being able to track employee theft for them. It saved them thousands upon thousands of dollars. So on that commission, you have 50%, 65, or 75% of the sell price that goes to you for the equipment commission. So you can really make some extra income just in your equipment commission there. Application fee, this is very standard in the industry. I get super excited about it because when I started here as a 1099 contractor, we didn't have this. So this is really your call. You can see here on the bottom, you can charge $0 to $250. That's completely up to you. And the company just gives 10% out to cover the taxes on that amount. So just to give you an example, oh wait, one more thing. Right here on this 8 to 11, that is under the install column, which is basically our terminology for a business close. So with that, this is where we start out all our new reps for their first 3 months, so that you're earning the higher commissions while you're learning, getting your feet underneath you, getting a good feel for things. You will always be on this tier for that 3 months. However, I do get asked this a lot. If you exceed getting 8 to 11 deals, yes, we do let you bump up to the next tier. That's just so you know you're never going to go below that while you're learning. So just to give you an example of that, let me go right here. Okay, that is considered, having 8 deals a month is considered our standard tier right here. So this is typically what we see our new reps doing within their first 1 to 3 months. This is our standard mark for our average new reps, is in that 1 to 3 month mark. So let me just show you how we get our metrics. These are based on our actual company metrics. So this is an example of the gross margin. Say you had 8 deals, and then what I typically see is us new reps that maybe don't have a book of business to bring with us, we tend to go to the smaller mom and pop shops. That's just how it is. My first one was a little pet store, so we know the drill. So let's just say I'm giving an example of that gross margin in that merchant statement being $150, which is a very conservative amount. It's based on a very small mom and pop shop business. So then on the tier that you're at for the first 3 months, we multiply that by 4. So that gives you $4,800 for your gross margin commissions. Then on equipment, let's say you're new, so you're doing it half the time. So let's do 4 equipment sales. And then let's keep it simple. Say you're just doing a little Identico desktop terminal. And then we multiply that by the 65% that goes to you of that sales price. That gives you an additional $1,300 for the month. Application fee, let's say you're negotiating that close. You're new, so you're only charging $100. Our reps get $249. Like $249 is kind of that magic number that works in our company. We see it nationally, and so that it really is up to you. So let's just say you're new, so you're doing that 100. That would give you an additional 800. That brings that total to $6,900 for the month. I like to show you what the year mark looks like. That multiply it by 12 months. That brings you 82.8. Now your residuals. So once your residuals start, as soon as we get that report back from Elevon, like Cole mentioned, we partnered with Elevon. They are amazing on the back end support. I'll go into that more in just a minute. But once we get that report back from them, then you start earning 10% every month off of each business. So based on these numbers, that comes to $9,000 by the end of the year. So your year one is at $91,800. So typically, well, standard. The standard in this industry is in order to hit the top commission tier, this is how it was in my previous 2 companies as well. You have to have 25 businesses or more to access that top commission tier. And that's really where things change. So in sales, everyone's aiming for that top comp tier. So here, our CEO decided, hey, I'm going to slash that in half, just in hopes of enticing strong reps to stay long-term because they have higher earnings sooner. So let me just give you those numbers for getting 12 deals a month, which is very achievable, and show you the difference. Here we have 12 deals a month. We'll keep our same mom and pop shop numbers times 150 times now we're getting 6-month advance. That brings our gross margin commissions to $10,800. Our equipment, let's say we're still new, doing it half the time, so that's 6 equipment sales. The desktop Identico, $500 sell, and then 75% is now what your commission tier is at, so that gives you an additional $2,250. On your application, we'll keep it the same. That gives you an additional $1,200, brings you to $14,250 for the month. Let's say you didn't get any better, but you were consistently doing 12 a month. Your year end would be $171,000. And we still need to add in that residual income that you're getting each month. On this tier, it's 15%. We jumped up 5% there. So by the end of the year, you're at $20,000 in residual income. So you're at $191,000. So the top tier is really where you want to be. But we work with anybody. We support wherever you're at, and we have the tools to help you be very successful. We have 2 logins that you have as an employee. We also have daily calls that Cole was talking about that you can be part of. Unless you have appointments, and we're not going to say cancel your appointment and be here. We want you to be out there getting deals, so we're very flexible with that. Right here, let me go over this. Soci in Latin means to come together. This is our actual branded partnership program. So how this works is you are looking for business owners that make great partners, whether they're manufacturers, CPAs, or maybe even a bank or credit union. You want to partner with them, and just for them signing that paperwork with you, they get 10, 15, or 20% monthly profit for each partner. So you're creating a revenue stream for them, and all they have to do is be willing to open their book of business to you. These have taken off beyond our expectations. We just launched it about a year ago. We have many reps that are getting multiple partnerships and thriving on this. That keeps your pipeline filled. That keeps you busy. And how it works is once you get those leads, they go into our database. Our marketing department shoots out a joint email campaign with this bright beaming recommendation of why they partner with Platinum Payments, commenting on the things that we've done for them, what they like about us, to their clients. So that's a warm lead. This is someone they've had relationships with for many years, so that makes it so much easier for you to close that deal. Up here at the top, Pyro, that's our employee referral program. This goes on for life as well as the residuals. So anyone that you recommend that I hire and I end up hiring them, well, who do you think they're going to be calling, asking questions to? It's probably going to be you, their buddy. So we wanted to just give a little sum back. It's $30 for every deal that they close, and that goes on endlessly. So it just helps create a great culture here. We found that like-minded people kind of flock together, so we want to embrace that and encourage that. So back to Elevon. Let me just share with you what is so great about Elevon. The way that they take care of that back-end support is huge. Let me give you an example. Okay, in my previous company, if I had a business owner that forgot their login, or maybe their terminal was running slow, I would have to be available to them to resolve those technical issues, try to figure out how to get them back logged in. I am not a tech person. I am not trained in technology. So it would take hours and I would lose some of my appointment times because a tech issue would end up going a lot longer. So here with Elevon, they take care of all that. I love to call them my personal assistant because they have a customer service number, they have a tech support number. So any of my customers call into the department that they need help with it is trained and professional and can resolve their issues. So then they document that call, what was done to resolve their problems, and shoot me an email to keep me in the loop on every one of my own customers. So then I can just call and reach out to them and I look great. I know what's been going on the back end with them, and then I know that they've had good help, and that gives me an opportunity to say, hey, you know, what about that gift card program? Let's look into getting started on that. So it's just a way to keep really great customer service, and they are amazing at taking care of that. Also, they have a number, which we all have on speed dial on our phones, is the sales support. So we can call at any time during the sales process, and if we have an equipment question or a software question, do we support something that maybe a current business owner is using? So we can get answers right there on the spot to help us out. It's the most current, up-to-date answer. So that's why we all use it, even the leadership here in the company. And it helps us to get things done quickly. So also, I didn't go over on that front page, but benefits, they start after 60 days. That's health, dental, vision, and life. And we do have some retirement plans. So we are paid twice a month. So the second and last Friday of each month, that residual check is 30 days in arrears when you first board a business, and then every Friday is when the residual check is paid. So that is pretty much all the ins and outs of the job, how things work. Throw any questions in the chat and we'll go over those towards the end. So that's pretty much everything.
Right
Cole,
on.
I'm going to turn over to you.
Yeah, you know, so one thing I want to, you know, mainly cover is just obviously kind of day in the life, you know, really, you know, I guess where the rubber hits the road, right? So, you know, obviously you guys decide, you know, to come on board. The first 2 days of your career is basically a new hire training program. Again, you're going to learn a lot more about the company, the industry, you know, pricing, rates, equipment, you name it. There's obviously multiple components of the sales process, as far as, you know, how to fill out an application with the merchant, to, you know, what's expected after the point, you know, to get it plugged into our basically it's called Pulse Points, our back-end business dashboard. All of you guys will have that access. You'll know exactly, you know, how much volume your clients are doing, how much you're getting paid on it. It's more, you know, what I look at is more of like a customer service. I know the money comes along just with what we do, but it's good to have that information at hand, just kind of like what Wendy was saying about merchant calls in. They're having questions about, you know, any part of their account. It's good to know what's going on with your clients at all times. It's good to know, you know, what their statements are looking like. You know, what are we billing? Is it, you know, the actual numbers that we quoted on their proposal? So again, the training's very well done. It goes into obviously Wednesday is pretty much like your first full day, right? So that starts on Monday. In fact, we have a training coming up this Monday that we'd like to obviously welcome you guys to, if you feel like we're a good fit for, you know, where you're wanting to head in your life and those types of values. So Wednesday, jump on the first call with us, and that generally starts around 9:30 Mountain Standard Time. I'm not saying you have to start your day at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time.
Mountain Daylight.
Yeah, Mountain Daylight. Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, it's a good touch point, and we do those about every other day, and then every day at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, we have what we call the Hangout. So everybody hops on that wants to hop on. Again, that's not mandatory, but we found with newer representatives we have out there, it's a great time to really get a lot of their questions answered. You're going to get certain objections out there in the field that, you know, you might not know the rebuttal right away, and so those are great times to bring up those questions. You might have some equipment questions, pricing, etc. So now you're in it, right? Now you're going out. You're either making phone calls. Again, right now we recommend. I mean, my passion, even though I started out, in more of a call center environment, and then we go run our appointments in the afternoon. My passion is actually out there on the doors. Something that I started implementing when I was running those appointments. I was like, it makes no sense for me to jump back in my car after this appointment and run back to the office and jump back on the phone. I'm like, we're out here, we might as well be talking to the local neighboring businesses, let them know how we were able to help, their neighbor, et cetera, right? So that could have been, with a new pricing structure, that could have been with some new technologies, some new fraud protection. Even right now, we have the ability to help people out with their websites, their website design, their marketing. And so we're always implementing new tools to basically, the tool bag to be more of an all-in-one service provider for merchants. The general process, and Wendy hit on it, is you're going to go out there, you're going to talk to literally as many businesses as possible, right? I mean, that's obviously the main goal. We like to talk a little more quantitative and actually have kind of set metric goals out there on a daily basis. Maybe it's, I want to go hit 40 doors and, make 20 to 30 phone calls. We recommend at least 4 to 5 hours worth of prospecting. We use the analogy of, hey, you have this big glass jar, and then you have these large rocks, these medium rocks, and these small rocks, and a whole lot of sand that you need to fit into this on a daily basis. And if you've never done that exercise, the trick to the puzzle is you have to put in the big rocks first and then work your way down, and then they'll all fit. If you do it backwards, there's no way. And so we look at those big rocks as the prospecting. You guys, a lot of you guys obviously coming to us with sales experience, that, planting those seeds, planting the fields on a daily basis is really what's going to be driving your consistent success. So you're out there meeting with business owners. Will everyone tell you that, yes, I want to join, your platinum guarantee? No, obviously we have our metrics as far as how many doors or phone calls it takes to really set an appointment. And out of those set appointments, obviously we have our closing ratios based off of that. We close right around 33% is our average. So I'm not going to come to you telling you we close, 80, 90% of our sales. We wish that was the case. Obviously, we're always striving to get better. Obviously, you're going to have your ratios on how many doors, So generally about every 20 doors, we're going to get a statement. And we look at a statement as really that ticket from the owner saying, hey, show me what you can do for our business. And we look at that as obviously, a set appointment, because you're going to set that on the follow-up. You'll get better as you go, right? And you're going to get to the point where you can take a statement right then and there, give a proposal on the spot, and be able to sign them up right then and there. We understand that, hey, early on in your career, you're going to need help even analyzing a statement, breaking down that bill. It sounds simple to a lot of people. They're thinking, hey, this is what my cell phone bill looks like. There's obviously a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of line items. There's literally probably hundreds of line items on these statements. We break it really down in layman terms. We come back to them with a very simple proposal to read, and we go over obviously the cost savings. We try to build more value though, and than just being the lowest guy on the block, right? We want to implement more value. A lot of that value is obviously, who we're backed with, right? And having local service, an A+ rated customer service, US based customer service. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into the value that we bring, not only the equipment, the new technology, the security that we bring to merchants. So we're presenting that proposal. Now we're actually signing up the application. It's like a 5 to 10 minute application. We fill it out, and then we go back into that pulse point system we were talking about earlier, and that's where we basically upload that. It sends it off to Elevon's underwriting department. They come back to us generally within 24 hours. In fact, I just submitted one about an hour ago before this call, and I'm looking to actually have that approved by 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we do have the ability to have same day approvals. I set it up to have the equipment shipped out next day air. So hopefully they're going to be getting that equipment probably by Friday. And, you know, I can go out there and install it, and then it's ready to get paid on. So that's really the process, right? And then and here's the big picture. You know, you guys heard about some of my experience working with credit unions, banks, a lot of CPA firms all across the country. Another big component to that Soci partnership is working with software companies, really be their integrated solution. That's how some of my great friends make 40, 50 grand a month just in that one partnership, because it's set up where everybody that buys the software, if they want the credit card processing integrated into the system, which most merchants like the all-in-one solution, you know, it's set up. So it's basically automated on continuous deal count coming in. That's the same way it works with a CPA firm, right? A lot of businesses look at CPA firms as a trusted advisor, right? Especially as it pertains to their finances. And so they're looking at them for financial advice, not only how to save them as much money from the IRS, but also other areas of their business. The easiest one to actually pinpoint is the merchant account. A lot of businesses, that is their highest actually overhead component, is the merchant account. The credit card processing fees, when you start thinking, hey, a lot of people are paying 3, 4, 5% on all their revenue that's coming in through an electronic payment, that starts stacking up, especially when you start talking of accounts doing, you know, $500,000, I mean, even $250,000 to $1 million a month. And that's a nice thing again, right? I mean, there's no company out there not only too small that we can't service and take care of, there's no company too big that we can't take care of as well. So you can think of the largest company out there in your mind thinking, hey, can we service that? Yes, we can. And you'll look at Elevon's portfolio and realize there's obviously some of those accounts in there. We would obviously like to add more to them as well. So, you know, when you look at, you know, what's the difference? We talked about the Platinum Core. The people, I believe, is one of the main differences as well. You know, partnering with your a company that has high ethics, has high business standards, that are family-oriented people, that have obviously people they love and care dearly about, that they make a good living providing for them. Also, just working with people that actually have the experience, right? You're thinking, hey, I want to go be the guy who partners with all the banks and credit unions and gets a lot of the software companies. Well, you're looking at a lot of people that do that. So that helps you guys with the confidence, knowing that, hey, I want to go, you know, create these partnerships. I want to, you know, have this really system automated, and, you know, we have it. So
you can see we're passionate. We're here,
you know,
for you too.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me all the time, so, hey, you know, why don't you just go do this yourself? It's like, hey, you know, I've done it myself. I find more passion teaching others how to go do it, right? How can you go provide for your family? Well, I like teaching about that. I like implementing certain strategies so you guys can really have that automated, to really have that flexibility. You know, in that video, it talks about travel. I'm a big outdoorsman. I love sports. I have a long background in officiating and coaching, and you know, that's what I love to do. I love traveling the country. I love hunting, fishing, chasing my passions with my friends and family. And obviously, you know, when you have residual income, that allows you to be able to do those things. And that was a funny kind of part of that video where it says travel, and then it kind of it says explore, and then it says travel some more. And so the cool thing about, you know, what we do is you can do this in all 50 states. You can actually do it in Canada. We're opening up Mexico right now. You heard about the UK. So you can take this wherever you really want to go. There's a lot of leadership opportunities right now, kind of tied to that Pyro program, and even more on top of that, where, you know, you guys are out there in your individual markets. A lot of you guys, in fact, I don't think anybody really on here is from Utah. So when you start looking at your market, you're thinking, okay, what would that look like if I had, you know, 10 people doing 10 deals, you know, times, you know, 30, 40, 50, even more on top of that with salaries, et cetera, right? It gets to definitely be well over 6 figures and pushing on. You start looking at, you know, what does it take to even hit that 6-figure mark? And you can start really breaking that down and reverse engineering it just from a, you know, representative perspective. and really start looking at, how many statements a day do I need to really be driving to make that happen. And I'll give you a simple metric. If you can go get 2 statements a day, you'll be well over that 6-figure mark. And you start thinking about that. It's like, is that very achievable? It is very achievable. I mean, you heard some people we talked about earlier that have done that, and a lot of people that have already retired because of doing those things. I'm telling you, the easiest way to get there is by creating those partnerships. It could be an association. We partner with a lot of web developers, right? You start thinking, well, web developers, why would that be a great partner? Well, they're setting up websites for businesses that need to accept credit cards and accept electronic forms of payment to sell their goods and services. Well, we're that payment gateway piece that has to be plugged in to make that happen. I'm going to wrap that up right there. I mean, obviously, if you want to learn more, definitely reach out. We're normal human beings. We're not here, selling you a get rich quick scheme. I'm not telling you that it doesn't take hard work, because it does. But I guarantee you, there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. And there is, obviously a great future here. So again, we thank everyone for being here. I don't know if there's any chats on the screen right now. We'll take a look at that. If I can actually find that right. Let's see. I'm not seeing any chat questions. Some of the things that we get asked a lot, though, is like, hey, how do I get started? And there should be that in there. I'm just obviously not seeing it, but how do I get started? Obviously, you guys know, I've already told you, you'll get an email. We definitely expect, feedback. Hopefully you can tell us how well, or maybe how bad we did on this call today. So, but if you guys have questions, right? If you are curious about certain facets of the industry or even the position, let us know, and then what we can do is comprise all those questions. Let all you guys know, maybe some of those were your questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking. What's up? In fact, we're going to unmute you guys. So this is kind of a smaller group. So if you guys have any questions you would like to ask right now, definitely feel free. None of us really bite, so go ahead.
I would love to ask a question about regulated businesses that you can't deal with for some reason, maybe cannabis, some of the, ed fringe or emerging markets. Is there a exclusion on that?
Yeah, so good question. So I'll touch on the cannabis one, right? Interesting thing, I ran a company out in the Denver area quite a few years back now, but it was kind of right around that boom. So the main one that's actually more relevant to us right now, and by the way, we can't process electronic payments for that industry. Another one that we actually were specializing in was the CBD market. CBD, people that actually advertise specifically like, hey, we sell CBD. We were actually specializing in that market. And then the federal government kind of came in and re-regulated a lot of those companies. And so we weren't able to move forward with them. Things look like once the federal government, that's the thing, it's when money crosses state lines is when things get a little dicey. That's when you got a federal type of issue maybe going on. And obviously we don't participate in anything illegal. When you start looking at what companies do we service, yeah, we can get kind of on kind of maybe the close to the higher risk. We tend not to. We have certain providers that specialize in that though. So when we're talking Elevon, yeah, Elevon might not want to dabble in certain things. I mean, you got to realize we're in Utah right now. Things are pretty, straight edge around here. So we don't really come across a lot of like adult industry type things, gambling. You start looking at, and the biggest risk factor, so kind of start thinking about this, is what companies have the highest likelihood of creating a chargeback. And a chargeback in this industry is a cardholder disputing a charge, and they have 180 days to do that from the time of purchase or the time of transaction. And so a lot of companies that have a lot of forward commitment, right? Maybe that contractor that says, I'm going to build you a fence, it's going to take you 6 months to do it. And then they're no where to be found after 2 weeks of the process, right? Obviously, that's going to trigger a chargeback. So that's why we have underwriting. We have, in fact, in training, you actually get to see the prohibited merchant list. So we definitely have that nailed down. You know, a lot of the other forward commitment might be, hey, you know, come to my fortune telling event or my business coaching event, and I'm going to teach you how to become, you know, a multi-millionaire in three months, right? Those businesses typically will have a high chargeback ratio as well. Not saying we can't deal with companies that have chargebacks, just some of those higher risk companies, they might take a little more of an underwriting process. We have, obviously, I told you about some other providers that we have that specialize in high risk. So we might submit it over to Elevon just because we know that's going to be the best deal, the best relationship to have. But if we know that, hey, you know, this other provider, this other processor is a great fit, you know, we'll send it over there as well. And another thing we do with having multiple processors is there's going to be times where certain software doesn't integrate well with Elevon. You know, 80–90% of the time we can, but we might have that kind of exception to the rule where we need another provider to be able to integrate. And so that's why we basically broker with the top 5 in the country. You'll look at Elevon's rankings and ratings, and you'll understand why we choose them more than anybody. Good question, though. Hopefully that helped answer. Some of those detailed ones, we'd want to probably dive in a little deeper. That's why it's nice to have rep support. You know, I'd probably, if you came to me with that saying, hey, I've got this great client, they seem a little more on the riskier side of things, you know, what should we do? We would just get rep support on the call. I mean, it's not like you call and have to wait an hour to get in touch with these people. It's literally 30 seconds to a minute. We're talking to, you know, one of their experts. They're based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Corporate's actually headed in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're talking to people live on the spot, you know, right away to answer any specific type question that arose. So again, great question. Thanks for that.
Great. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Any other
I had a quick follow-up about the industrial hemp. I didn't know if that was included. You mentioned CBD, but that could be derived from obviously the cannabis side of that. So, but the industrial hemp products are potential for the commerce.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Platinum.
the thing, you know, I mean, a lot of these guys that are doing the industrial hemp, again, it seems like they're tied. I'm not the actual expert that you probably want to talk to regarding that, but this is what I'll say. We have a lot of clients that sell CBD, sell industrial hemp products. I know we can generally get them boarded, right? Usually there's some type of health and nutrition store that sell multiple type things that are related to that. As long as they're not out there, like, you know, on their website, you know, their front, you know, door you walk in. In fact, it really comes down to start thinking of underwriting. It's like they're not really out there, you know, investigating these businesses. They rely on obviously us as representatives to obviously write good business, and that's what you're looking to do anyway. But as long as they don't have those like references in their business name, you know, we have a lot of clients that are, you know, health, nutrition, supplement store, right? You know, XYZ health, nutrition. Well, they sell a lot again, those products in there, but they're not, you know, blasting it out there on the, you know, emails and online and putting it in their name that they do that. So generally we can board those accounts. Again, I know we have partners that do that. In fact, CBD is starting to kind of start ramping back up. There seems like they're getting things kind of squared away again, where that's, you know, going to be a normal business that we're bringing on.
And then your platform also has an online ability for payment processing?
Yeah,
like Stripe?
absolutely.
Okay, got it. So you don't have to have the physical machinery per se. You could do like an e-commerce.
Yeah. In fact, we just
link.
actually had one of our veteran reps who partners with a lot of companies, and integration is a big thing, not only in software, but in the web, you know, e-commerce space. We obviously have partners that help create websites, create marketing campaigns, do social media, do blogging, do all that. And by the way, you guys get paid on all that as well. There's residual money there. There's upfront money there. But the e-commerce platforms have been really the normal. I look at some of our largest accounts, their websites, they're people selling products online. And so absolutely. In fact, in 2019, in fact, I recommend you guys looking at Elavon's site. It's ELAV as in Victor, ON.com, Elavon.com. Scroll from their About Us page, scroll like midway down. You'll see some of the top awards. You'll see some of their main highlights. But in 2019, one of the major credit card processing association gave them the top award for the e-commerce platform. We own the product. It's called Converge. So Converge. In fact, you can YouTube Converge Elavon, and you'll see a lot of the videos, tutorials, how to create and buy buttons, how to do reoccurring billing, how to create invoices and do billing, etc. So definitely check them out. In fact, there's even some videos that we've uploaded onto our Facebook, Platinum Payments again, Facebook page. A lot of you guys have found us out there on our recruiting basically processes on social media. So again, definitely check out all that stuff. It's really amazing. It shows you just really how state of the art our technology is.
Hello, you guys. I have a quick question.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, Adrian.
Yes. I wanted to know just two questions. How in depth does our knowledge have to be with the software setup? How hands-on are we with that? After we establish after we close a deal, how much of that do we do? And then also after the training, which sounds like it's 2 days, are we obligated to be on the phones, or can we hit the streets? Because that's what I love actually doing. I love talking to people face to face. I prefer that method. So
yeah,
those two
in
questions
fact, I'll answer that question right away. So Platinum Payments, again, you can work it however you like. So I'm more of the beating the streets, getting out there, being face to face with merchants, creating that rapport, creating that relationship. I mean, that's where obviously you guys are all out in individual markets. That's why we're doing this. If we wanted to be really just inside sales over the phone, we could just do that in our own corporate office. We have 30 desks out there, and yeah, I mean, we still want to have that part of our business. We haven't really focused a ton on that. Our main bread and butter is face to face. We feel like the magic happens out there. So when you look at that 4 to 5 hours of the big rocks, right, the prospecting, we look at that as however you feel fit, and what you'll find is there's going to come some follow-up basically opportunities that you're going to have to do, right? A lot of those can be done more efficient, maybe from the phone, right? So you're thinking, okay, in fact, we actually train to have 2 main areas you're working. They could be individual cities. They could be, the east side, the west side, the north, the south. It doesn't matter. But so when you're in an area on Monday, you can already be talking the terminology. Great, so-and-so's not here. Perfect. I'm gonna be back out here on Wednesday. See more of a morning person or an afternoon. Great. So you're gonna get in at 9:30, or is he more around 10:30? So you're starting to like hammer these business owners down on when they're gonna be there. You might have chased him around forever. You want to still, get the account. You feel like there's some great opportunity there, but you've maybe kind of moved on, right? You might have moved over into another area. That's where I'd probably reference, using the phones, using the emails, even reach out for text, social media. Again, a lot of people are getting a little more creative with that, using the messenger features, awesome. Even taking kind of selfie videos. I've seen people really kind of getting more creative as far as that, which I think that's what we're looking to do. But the main thing we're really pushing is we're local, right? And you being in that market makes our business local to them. And that's where we feel like we really strive, is from our customer service standpoint, where it's like, hey, Adrian, he's my guy, he's local. If I ever need any questions, he's going to be my guy, right? And then you have unlimited resources on how you can service them. Because again, you start going out there, it's like, yeah, it's one thing to show some savings. There's more value than just that, right? It could be the e-commerce side of things that we can help them with. It could be, just you being local, you being a good guy, being there for the merchant, that means a lot. How knowledgeable do you have to be in software? I almost forgot that question. Again, Wendy already talked about how she's not very tech savvy. She's barely got the Zoom call running right now. So the nice thing is you're going to learn a lot, right? We're going to continue to learn. We've got global learning labs from Elevon. We have obviously a lot of YouTube documents. We have ongoing training, literally on an ongoing basis. Those morning calls, actually that's where I thought you were going with that call or that question. We recommend you being on those calls. We recommend stuff. We're not a bunch of micromanagers. We give you the tools, the time, the training. We look at you guys as professionals, you guys as obviously adults. You can govern your business. We're going to be available every morning, every afternoon, and everywhere in between, right? You're going to be able to get a hold of somebody. And so as it pertains to, how technical savvy do you have to be? Trust me, I'm not the most technical savvy person. I've become obviously more knowledgeable with more experiences doing that. We had one of our veteran reps again this morning talking about how we integrate with software. It is very, very simple. Sometimes we think about, oh my gosh, we got to plug this payment system into a website. We got to plug it into a software. I remember when I first started, if I walked into a business and they had some type of point of sale system or some type of software, I would literally hightail it out of that business. Then I realized that operating those types of systems are actually easier than installing just a regular credit card terminal. And those are literally pretty stupid simple. You know what I mean? They're designed for, the younger type of cashier to run those systems. They're pretty easy to operate. Again, there's even trainings out there on YouTube on, if you look up Ingenico, Ingenico, that's our main, product line we sell as far as credit card terminals. There's a lot of information out there on YouTube about it. Ingenico.com has a lot of great information as well. So to answer your question, you don't have to hardly be technical at all. In fact, we, probably the most technical piece of equipment we sell is a full-blown tablet point-of-sale system, where they have inventory, kind of how she was talking about, employee management, all the other kind of, very detail-oriented pieces of their business it manages. Nice thing is we have partnerships with companies that do the full demo and do the full sell for you. So it's like, hey, I want to be super involved. And the thing that you'll start realizing is you start obviously getting more knowledgeable as the more deals and the more systems you sell. But you got to realize that, we have, obviously you're going to do your research on US Bank and Elevon. They are definitely set up far above anybody else I've been involved with on how to help you with software. They have a software support team. They have their software developers that work one-on-one with not only you, but the merchants as well.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, great question. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Any others?
Okay. Again, if anything comes up, from now until, basically whenever, you're going to have obviously a lot of contact with Wendy. She's going to be relaying a lot of messages to me, I'm sure. Let it be known, anything that you can come up with as far as, hey, I only want to work a certain amount of time during the week, or, hey, I have a lot of, kids, I'm a stay-at-home mom. A lot of those things, yes, there is flexibility. We can work with all different types of people, regardless of what your background is, regardless if you have a ton of sales experience and a huge portfolio that you want to bring over to us, or, hey, I'm brand new to sales. I'm excited. I really want to change my career path. Fresh out of school, no school. Obviously, we're looking for people with good work ethics, good attitude, right? I'm not saying you have to be as crazy passionate as me, but stay positive, right? Coachable. I look at one trait where it's like, hey, if I could kind of visualize this perfect candidate for us, what's one of the qualities I'm looking for? and being coachable is one of them, right? You know, at least having an open mind. I'm not saying you have to agree with everything that we say, at least, you know, have an open mind, you know, be coachable, want to learn, want to become better. Those are some of the things we're looking for. And we believe that there's two things that you can control on a daily basis, and it's your work ethic and your attitude. So as long as you have those, you know, dialed in, and you figure like you could bring that on a daily basis, we'd obviously love to have you on board.
I'm sorry, I had a client call, so I had to, you know, leave for a second. But can you guys go ahead and kind of pinpoint what kind of accounts and executives, corporations, maybe even give me like two that you guys, like one big one, one small, that you guys have acquired yourself for platinum payments?
Yeah, so I would recommend going on to the Elvon site. You'll see some of the top companies out there as well. We here locally, you know, definitely have had our fair share. Our portfolio, I would still even highlight that, you know, it's not the biggest portfolio. You know, we have probably a couple thousand clients right now. So they range from definitely the small guys to the big guys. You know, even here in Utah, I was actually working with one of our local reps. There's 240,000 businesses here in Utah. Yes, I would say that we're, you know, successful. Obviously, if I thought we were as successful as we wanted to be, more than likely we wouldn't be having this phone call. We service one of the top dealerships, and you'll ask us this, you know, if you decide to hop on board, like, hey, can we get a full, you know, portfolio? And the answer is no, right? Because that's obviously our revenue stream. Most companies would highly protect that as well. So as far as, you know, needing references, referrals, you can always come to me, ask me for specific ones. I'm more than happy to help you with. We're really looking for you guys and gals to go out there and create those monster opportunities. So, you know, again, there's no company too big or too small. We're backed by US Bank. It's the 5th largest commercial bank in the world. We can definitely handle the volume, and again, we can handle the small little guy as well. So hopefully that helps you in a roundabout way. We have obviously a couple thousand accounts, some big, some small, everything in between. So from e-commerce to retail, to suppliers, to hand keys, restaurants, retail, industrial, service, CPAs, lawyers. By the way, bankruptcy lawyers are one that's on the prohibited list, even though we take care of lawyers that actually do bankruptcies, but they just don't actually out there advertising that, hey, you know, I'm XYZ bankruptcy lawyer. You know, we do a lot of law offices, dental, you know, professional, dental, medical, billing, and geez, you know, you start thinking of all the different facets of businesses we work with. And that's, you know, you start thinking about this, you're like, well, gosh, that's a pretty big opportunity, right? Because you're thinking in your head, you know, who could I go talk to right now that we could bring on board? You can really go pick and choose whoever you want, because more than likely they accept electronic payments in their business, debit cards and credit cards, right? We even do ACH check processing as well. And so that's why really the sky's the limit. It's really up to you on who you want to work with. And that's why, you know, if the person I walk in wants to be kind of the, you know, arrogant, whatever you want to call them, I don't have to do business with that guy, because I've got over 1,000 businesses that I'm planning on talking to this month that I can go actually serve and kind of dictate who I want to work with. And that's why you get to choose, you know, maybe what industries you want to go after, maybe, you know, what certain, you know, networks that you've been involved with in the past. You know, you might be passionate about hunting or fishing or sports or computers, gaming, whatever. You know, go help those people. Go have meaningful conversations with those business owners, build a relationship with them, and take care of them long term. Thanks, Paris.
Hey, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh,
I've got
Chase.
Wendy's information, and I've got a hard stop here in a couple of minutes. I'm
fine.
at 1, and I'm actually in Utah, just down the street from you guys.
Nice.
But I have Wendy's contact info, and I'm sorry, I missed your name. What was your name again?
Yeah, so my name's Colston, so you can email me at Colston, COLSTON @ptpay.us. And in fact, my cell phone number, if you guys want to reach out to me and shoot me a text or give me a phone call. In fact, I've got a 1 o'clock call or hangout is at 1 o'clock. It's 801-336-7598. So
Okay, great.
there's that 801 for you, Chase, right down the street. So cool. Hey, what city are you in, by the way?
What's that?
Where are you at, by the way?
In Lehigh.
Lehigh, right on. Utah County, awesome. Yep, love it down there.
In Slopes.
Lots of business.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Silicon Slopes down there. So there's tech boom. There's all sorts of businesses down there. That's awesome.
Crazy. Wild.
Again, welcome. We appreciate your time today,
You guys
Chase.
will be getting the email from me in about an hour, just a follow up on this. So my email's in there as well, my contact information for the next steps. So thanks so much for your time. All of you have a great rest of your day and looking forward to
Thank
talking.
you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, guys, y'all have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Goodbye.